Okay, yeah. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to our first episode of the Yellow Generational Nuzlocke. Um, so those of you who have been watching, you know that we tied it up in the last play. So we are now 1-1. We lost red, um, but then we won blue. And I would say we won it pretty handedly. I wasn't super stressed about it. So now we're going through our last play, and then we'll be able to move on to the next generation. And yeah, so super stoked. And with this being the final one of this set, we have a lot of Pokemon to choose from still, so I'm actually not too worried about being able to build a team. I feel pretty confident for this play. So anyway, with all of that being said, we are calling this either Life Advice with Yellow or Yellow's Life Advice. I haven't decided which one kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better. But the idea, each episode, I want to talk about, little nuggets that I've discovered in life, either through personal experience, watching things that my friends have gone through, or things that, my family has dealt with, and just give what I feel is sound, sage advice, right? Take everything with a grain of salt. I never claim to be a guru. I certainly don't know everything. But I have, I've gone through my fair share of struggles, right? And I've seen a lot of things that students have gone through, that people in my life have gone through. And so, I don't know. Just at the end of each episode, I'm hoping to give you something thought-provoking, something that you can take and reflect on, and that it's hopefully useful to you. Before we get into that, though, we have some updates. First off, 3D printed Squirtle, finally. I think it came out pretty good. You can at least tell it's a Squirtle. And now we have Charmander. And we also have Bulbasaur. So we got all three of the original starters 3D printed. My next one, my final Pokemon I'm going to 3D print is Pikachu. And then I'll have all of the original starters. From there, it's going to be words. Words are hard. D&D figurines. So I'm excited about that. Ooh, that hurt. Man, luck's in my favor, huh? But yeah, so we got that. I'm recording this on the 15th, so for my students who are watching this, today was the English 1 mock, so I'm kind of doing an overview of some of the conversations that I had across my periods, because today was a weird day. We were kicked out of my room, for instance, for most of the day, and not a whole lot of work happened, if I'm being honest. I mean, individual students put in work, making up grades and stuff, and I'm happy with that. But I took it as an opportunity to, have powwows and chit chats and stuff like that. And inevitably, things kind of circled back around to the channel. Halo is greenlit. So the plan right now, I'll still do some Fortnite, but I have to put my money where my mouth is in putting some Halo SWAT up. I'm pretty confident I'm going to be able to just, sit, play, record, and dominate in that. For a game like that, though, those will actually just be gameplay videos. I won't be doing the talking part. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll have it recording just so you can see me like jerk and stuff like that. Maybe get a kick out of it. But those games are really fast paced. So it's not like there won't be like having conversations and stuff. Did I not get the... Did I not grab the parcel? What the heck? What the heck, Bubba? What happened? I don't know. What happened? He does that all the time. Like when I start getting onto him about something, he'll be like, "What? I don't know. Why are you yelling at me? What?" So anyway, yeah. So Halo Reach is greenlit. You guys also seem pretty enthusiastic about some Resident Evil gameplay, which I am more than happy to deliver because I love those games. I also have at least one episode of Rocket League that I have planned. I've watched some gameplay. It doesn't really look like it's going to be my cup of tea. And so that video will probably just be like, ha ha, watch Mr. M fail epically. And we can all have a good laugh about it. And then we'll probably move on. Cheat list, maybe it's this? Messing it up. Okay, say hi to Professor Oak for me. Oh, well that stinks. I don't know what happened there. Alright, anyway, but yeah, so the Resident Evil stuff, that might be more pushing towards summer, that we start pumping some of that out. But it is what it is. I was actually going to do the Rocket League video today, as well as maybe the first Halo Reach video. But I got home after tutorials, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is down in our area, so I'm having to deal with that. Stop bouncing, Bubba. Calm down. You've watched... Hey. No. Poke you in the eye with my ginormous nose. Poke you in the eye. I'll do it. So anyway, yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So I'm looking forward to pushing through, and because of the Wi-Fi, I decided, you know what, we'll go ahead and do, record the first couple episodes of this series so that we can start pushing through, because I would like to start recording the history portion. That's kind of the whole thing. Now, I did get a suggestion today, and I've been kind of pondering it in my head. And so here's my question for this episode, like what I'm looking for in the comments, alright? So I had a student who said, maybe have two separate channels. One that is focused on the history, and one that is focused on gameplay, right? And I can understand his argument, like some of you, like you're here for the gameplay stuff, and you want to, hear me react to it and all that. My counter argument, my initial plan with this, as you can see, like I've been dividing stuff into playlists, And so once I got to the history part, it was just like what I've been doing. It would say, you know, U.S. history, Unit 1, Gilded Age, and that would be the name of the playlist. Bubba, I need you to stop. Stop with your monkey feet. Watch your show. And kind of organize it like that. And my counter argument, which I feel is valid, is that if I had two separate channels, you would have to subscribe to both of them to get updates. And I don't want you to have to, you know, do extra work in that regard. And the purpose of this whole thing was the history part. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. You know, you can have the debate in the comment section, or you can tell me in class what you think. But my kind of gut says just have one channel. Alright. Why don't I get my Pokeballs? I don't understand. Options, sheet, list. Okay. I don't understand that. That's annoying. Ugh. Yellow is different the way Game Shark works. As you can tell. And so I don't know. Oh, come on. I can try it one more time. Two, no. Please don't crit. Okay. Run. Alright, so the way that works, I had my encounter now that I have Pokeballs, so I no longer get that encounter. Which is okay. I can't use Pidgey anyway. Now, for this next one, I really need it to be Mankey. A Mankey would be really, really useful. I need something to fight Rock. Otherwise, that gym is going to be the one that gives me trouble. But I will take a Nidoran. Can I might knock it out. No, okay, good. Okay. Who is the king? I don't know. We're just gonna name him King. I don't know. Not being overly inventive with the names, but that's fine. Alright, so we got our first. We're gonna go ahead and heal one more time. And pump up Nidoran a little bit. So anyway, let's get into the life advice. Right, that's what this series is about. So this first one, I'm kind of thinking the general life advice. And so there's kind of three big ideas. You need to stop. Watch your bubble guppies. Three big ideas that I want to connect together. One, time is your most valuable resource. Alright, now that one's pretty straightforward when you think about it. Time, one, you never know how much of it you actually get, which is scary, or can be scary. And then once you spend it, you don't get it back. And so you need to make sure that you are using your time in a valuable way, regardless of what you end up doing. Now, there's caveats to that, right? Like, you need to find time to relax. You need to find time to do things that you enjoy. All work and no play, Johnny a dull boy, right? Um, Second piece of life advice. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing right. So at the point where you have decided this thing is worth, investing your time into, then you should do it to the best of your ability, whatever it ends up being. So for instance, schoolwork, um, you know, life, sports, your education in general, whatever it is, whatever you decide to do, you need to do it to the best of your ability. And then my third piece of advice, and then we're going to kind of connect all these things together, and this is something I've actually brought up in class at the end of last week, I think. But in the Army, we had a phrase, embrace the suck. Right? Like, there are certain moments in your life where you have to do things that you just don't want to do. You might not understand why you have to do it. You don't agree with having to do it, but you got to do it, right? And so, embracing the suck, in a nutshell, what you find is that you take on this mentality. Oh, dang it. Forgot about this again. Oh. Well, that's not what I was trying to do. Cheat list. Just turn them both off? Alright, well, I don't know what happened. We broke it. Uh-oh. This is becoming messy. Mickey. So anyway, embrace the suck, right? If you can take on the mentality that, like, man, this is just something that I have to do, you will be amazed at how powerful you become, because you just do what you got to do to get to the next step, right? Come on. Okay. And so you'll find that the things before that you're like, oh my goodness, I have to do this thing, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden those things become a little bit more bearable, right? Like, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always an end to the hardships. You just have to get there. And so embrace the suck, right? So now when we start piecing some of these ideas together, if you can embrace the suck, do the things that you have to do, right? Take care of your business. If you can do that, other people are going to start to recognize that. Other people will recognize that, and they'll want to attach themselves to you, because good work leads to good work. And when you start to surround yourself with other people who are also focused and goal-oriented, success breeds success. And so the things that once upon a time you thought were difficult, things that once upon a time you thought were unbearable, they get easier. You get better at them. If you keep the mindset that anything worth doing is worth doing right, right? So those really difficult things, you do it to the best of your ability. Again, people recognize it. And you'd be surprised, the people that are watching. Because regardless of what you end up doing in life, there's always going to be a boss. right? There's always somebody in charge. There's always, you're working your way up that ladder, so to speak. Your work will be recognized. Which then circles back to kind of the first piece of advice. Life is your most valuable resource. And so at the point where you have chosen a direction, right? You have a path that you're taking, a goal in mind. The value for your time is going to be weighed by that in success, right? Like, are you able to reach your goal? Are you able to obtain the thing that you've been working towards, whatever it ends up being, right? That's what gives time meaning. And so life then becomes kind of a balancing game. And I've had this conversation with students, in life, I want one of two things to happen for you. I want you to find a way to make money doing something that you enjoy. And that's the preferred thing, right? Because honestly, as a single person with no kids, like your only responsibility is to take care of yourself, life is not expensive. You can get by on a very, very small amount of, daily expenses. And so you can pursue those dreams, right? Like whatever the goal is. And so you gotta, take care of your business, basically. And so if you can find a way to make money doing something that you enjoy, even if it's, it takes time, right? Because like anything really worth doing, anything that has real, true, intrinsic value, it takes time. It takes practice to become good at those things. So you pursue it. And if you can find a way, and it's unfortunate that this is the truth, but too many of us do not get job satisfaction out of the job itself. And so like what job satisfaction means, like to give you a definition, as long as you are satisfied with your job, you will continue to do that job, right? Like it's not that necessarily you're happy, but you're content, like you're okay. And so if you enjoy what you do and you're being paid to do it, that's a win, right? That means the job satisfaction is intrinsic to the job itself. No extra work is required, right? For instance, I feel like one of the blessed in the sense that I truly enjoy what I do. Are there things about it that aggravate me? Sure, right? In fact, I made a joke today. A student was like, oh, like you're my favorite teacher because like you're always so calm. It doesn't matter what's going on. You just you handle things really well, and you just all you ever want to do is help us and build us up, and like it was meant to be like this, like, oh, like thank you, and I made a joke out of it, and I was like, well, I appreciate that, but you have to understand that like there's our conversation, right? The things that I'm physically saying, and then there's also this internal dialogue that no one ever hears except me. And that internal dialogue is mean. Sometimes students aggravate me. I am human. I have faults, but I always strive to do the best that I can in any given situation. And so my job is to build you guys into functional adults, to give you the tools and the skills and the tricks and the emotional mechanisms to handle the hardships of life. And life is difficult, life is hard. Which I guess now we're kind of getting into a fourth piece of advice, and I'll go ahead and throw this caveat in there. You have to make a plan. Like, you need to have some goal, where are you going to be in 5 years? All right, what about 10 years? You have to have goals, because if you don't have goals, life is going to make a plan for you, and it's going to suck. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have to do more things that you don't want to do. You're going to be asked to do things that you're not going to be understood. You're not going to understand why you have to do those things. And then because you don't have a plan, you're now trapped in that thing, right? Like, you're stuck in this cycle of continuously doing like whatever it is that you're really not wanting to do. And that's not a life that I want for any of my students. So you have the career path where you get job satisfaction for the thing that you're doing. Unfortunately, a very small number of us will ever have a job like that. Too few of us. Baba, what are you doing? What are you doing? The other side of that coin is to get job satisfaction through pay, right? Like, you make enough money doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you're given enough time away from that job to pursue things that you enjoy doing. Most of us call those things hobbies, right? Do you have a hobby? And that can be any number of things, right? Like, your hobby could be, I like playing video games. I like collecting Pokemon cards. I like, doing NFL draft, and the brackets and all that. I enjoy painting, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is in life, your passion, does your work provide you enough pay to support yourself? You make enough money to put a roof over your head, feed yourself, take care of your bills, but also provide enough to pursue those passions. And then a sad number of people, that's not the case. You don't make enough. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You're struggling to just get by. That is not a sustainable way to live. Like, you're not going to be a happy person if that's your life. For instance, I was not that person for a long time, right? Like, I could tell you stories that surprise a lot of my students, because, like, you meet me and, like, I'm relatively well put together, I'm a teacher. I own a home now. Well, the bank owns my home, but we're working on it, I own both of my vehicles. I got that, I'm the classic middle class family. I got the beat up fridge out on the patio, We're doing well, but we're not, like, super wealthy. Perfectly middle class. And, double kick. Okay, we're good. We're solid for this fight. We're gonna go ahead and use Mickey too. He's gonna be our throwaway if we need somebody. Because I can't use Ari in battle. If I use him, I lose. But yeah. And so you have to find job satisfaction. Otherwise, you're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna end up being like, there was once upon a time, my wife. Well, we weren't married at that point, but we were both donating plasma to make ends meet, right? To make sure that we could eat that night, and that's not a way to live. Right? Like, she was working 40 plus hours every week. I was working 2 jobs at one point, while trying to get certified to be a teacher. There's this, that took me about 3 months, And I'll be honest, it's the most just like the most stressed I've ever been, and I was in the military, right? Just crazy how stressful living in Houston was. So you gotta have job satisfaction. Like that's a must if you're going to live any sort of like happy, productive life. And so how you get there, well, there's a number of things, right? I highly recommend, numero uno, have a plan, right? And so like you guys, most of my audience, you're high schoolers, so you have time, right? And so like for instance, like I have mostly sophomores right now. You think you have a lot of time, but then before you graduate, but think about how quickly this year has gone by, right? Like we're a couple weeks away. Stop it, Bubba. We're a couple weeks from spring break, and so this year is almost over, and then you become sophomores, then you become juniors, and then juniors. I mean, that flies by because you're deciding about, you have all these, ooh, this is not good. Okay, we're gonna Pokemon Mickey. Bide's gonna mess me up. But yeah, so you need to graduate high school with some sort of plan, right? Like I'm going to, like, 5 years after graduating high school, this is what I want to be doing, right? What do I have to do to get to that point? And then once you have this idea of your future self, where you would like to be, then you need to sit down and go, well, what do I need to do to get there? Is there anything that I could do right now in high school that helps me get to that point? And it's perfectly fine if your plan, divots and shifts and, changes ever so slightly over time, right? For instance, like I never intended to be a teacher, but here I am, and I'm doing, hopefully, I'm doing pretty good work, and I'm pretty successful. And so now I have my own goals and things that I want to pursue further into education. That's why I'm currently working on my master program and, moving right along in terms of that stuff. And so goals are important. So anyway, to give a kind of a quick summary, life or time is your most valuable resource. So whatever you end up doing, you need to make the most of it. Connected to anything worth doing is worth doing well. So at the point where you've decided to invest your time, whether it's something you have to do or something you want to do, you need to do it to the best of your ability. And understand that even if it doesn't seem like anybody's watching, there are people watching. All right, I promise you. And then your final piece of advice, worth doing is worth doing right. Time's your most valuable resource. Pursue something you're passionate about. Job satisfaction, right? Whether that is intrinsic from the job itself, or something that you gain because of the pay that you receive, right? So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. We went way over time, but that's fine. Have a good rest of your day.